In the world of 1980s country music, there were countless names that filled the airwaves, but few groups managed to capture the hearts of fans with the sincerity and harmony of four sisters from Georgia. The Forrester sisters, with their close-knit family background and seamless vocal blend, became one of country music's most recognized acts. Their story isn't filled with scandal or drama, but it is a testament to talent, hard work, and the quiet power of music that touches people's lives. The Forrester sisters came from Lookout Mountain, Georgia. The family itself was musical. The sisters grew up surrounded by the sounds of gospel and country music. Christy, June, Kathy, and Kim Forrester were encouraged from an early age to sing, both at home and in their local community. Music was not just a hobby, it was part of their identity. Family gatherings often included impromptu performances, and their harmonies naturally developed over time. These early experiences would become the foundation of their later career. In the early 1980s, country music was going through a period of change. The genre was moving from traditional sounds toward a more polished, mainstream production. While some artists embraced a pop-infused style, others stuck closely to traditional roots. The Forrester sisters fit into a space where they could appeal to both audiences. Their music retained country authenticity, but was also radio-friendly enough to reach a broader audience. Their voices blended in ways that were soothing and instantly recognizable, giving them an advantage in a competitive industry. The sisters first gained attention locally. They performed at small venues, churches, and community events, slowly building a following. Their harmonies, while natural, were polished over time through consistent practice and performance. They weren't overnight sensations, their rise was gradual. It was clear, even in these early days, that they had a special chemistry that separated them from other acts. People began to take notice, and their reputation grew beyond their hometown. In 1984, their career took a significant turn. They signed with a record label and began recording professionally. Their first single, while not an immediate chart topper, showed promise. Radio stations picked up the track, and listeners responded positively to the fresh sound of four sisters singing together with precision and warmth. For a country act at the time, family groups were popular but rare enough that the Forrester sisters' dynamic stood out. Their familial bond was not just a marketing point, it was a defining characteristic of their music. As they moved forward, the sisters faced challenges common to many new artists. Touring required leaving home for extended periods, recording demanded long hours, and the pressure to succeed in a competitive industry was constant. Despite these challenges, the sisters maintained their focus. Their shared upbringing and mutual support helped them navigate the difficulties. They leaned on each other for emotional support and artistic guidance. In a field often characterized by solo acts or male dominance, the Forrester sisters presented a united, harmonious front. By the mid-1980s, the Forrester sisters began to achieve measurable success. Their singles started charting, and they received invitations to perform on national television. Their look, approachable and wholesome, complemented their sound. They were relatable to audiences, presenting an image that was genuine rather than manufactured. This combination of talent, image, and familial authenticity helped solidify their place in the country music landscape. Songs like "I Fell in Love Again Last Night" and "Just in Case" showcased their ability to convey emotion without overacting. Their music was simple, melodic, and heartfelt, reflecting personal experiences in a way that listeners could connect with. The lyrics often focused on themes of love, family, and everyday life, topics that resonated with the country music audience. There were no shocking revelations or extreme lifestyles to sell. The sisters succeeded on the merit of their craft and appeal. Their albums were met with modest commercial success initially, but the consistency of their work earned them respect from both fans and industry professionals. Awards nominations and wins followed, highlighting the quality of their harmonies and the appeal of their music. The Forrester sisters were not only a family act but also a professional musical group whose performances were polished and precise. For anyone exploring 1980s country music, they represented a model of professionalism and artistic integrity. The sisters' story reminds us that success in music does not always require controversy or flamboyance. Sometimes it is about dedication, talent, and the ability to connect with an audience through authenticity. The Forrester sisters' rise was slow but steady, marked by attention to craft, careful management, and the strong bond of family. They exemplified the possibility of achieving recognition in country music through perseverance and harmonious collaboration rather than spectacle. By the end of the 1980s, the Forrester sisters were firmly established in the country music world. They had multiple charting singles and a loyal fan base. Their career trajectory illustrated that female groups could compete effectively in an industry often dominated by solo artists or male groups. The combination of their sibling bond, vocal talent, and consistent work ethic made them icons of their era, even if their story is not as widely told today as some of their contemporaries. By the late 1980s, the Forrester sisters had moved beyond being a local sensation. They were now a recognized name in country music, appearing on major television shows, performing at large venues, and enjoying chart success. Their rise reflected not only talent but also timing. The country music landscape at the time was open to polished, harmonious female acts, and the Forrester sisters fit neatly into this niche. The group's success was marked by several hits that reached the top of country charts. Songs like Mama's Never Seen Those Eyes and You Again became staples of the era. These songs were built on simple but effective melodies and relatable lyrics. Listeners found comfort in their sound. It was familiar, warm, and sincere. Unlike some artists who relied on gimmicks, the Forrester sisters depended on their voices, harmonies, and the stories they told through song. Their music didn't demand attention through spectacle. It invited listeners to pay attention to the feeling behind the notes. Touring became a central part of their career. The sisters traveled extensively across the United States, performing at arenas, theaters, and country music festivals. Touring was demanding, requiring stamina and coordination, but it allowed the sisters to connect directly with their audience. Fans came to expect their signature harmonies and emotional delivery, and the sisters rarely disappointed. Their performances were professional, polished, and consistent, contributing to a reputation for reliability in the music industry. Their albums during this period reflected growth in both musicality and production. Each release was carefully arranged to highlight their vocal strengths, often incorporating elements of pop and traditional country. Producers worked with the sisters to ensure that the sound was radio-friendly without losing authenticity. This balance helped them maintain chart presence while appealing to both traditional country audiences and newer fans. The Forrester sisters were able to navigate this balance in a way that few groups could, securing their position as icons of 1980s country music. One of the distinctive aspects of the Forrester sisters was their emphasis on family values. The sisters themselves were a tight-knit unit, and they conveyed that through interviews, appearances, and even the themes in their music. Songs often focused on family, love, and personal growth, resonating with audiences who valued sincerity over flash. They were not attempting to reinvent the genre, but rather to provide consistent, relatable music that reflected everyday experiences. This approach may have seemed conservative, but it proved effective. Awards and recognition came naturally as a result of their work. The sisters received nominations from prominent country music organizations, and their charting singles were a testament to their popularity. While they did not dominate award shows in the way some contemporary artists did, they maintained respect among peers and fans alike. Their success was measured in consistency and reliability, rather than occasional bursts of fame. In a sense, they exemplified steady achievement in the music industry, a feat that is sometimes overlooked. Collaboration also played a role in their growth. The sisters worked with various songwriters and producers to refine their sound, ensuring each album was a step forward in quality. They were not innovators in the experimental sense, but they were skilled interpreters of country music, bringing warmth and harmony to every track. Their ability to select and perform songs that suited their voices contributed to a catalog of music that remains recognizable today. Behind the scenes, the sisters faced challenges, though these were often understated. Touring and recording demanded significant personal sacrifice, and balancing family life with professional obligations required careful management. Yet the support they provided each other allowed them to continue without major public conflicts. The absence of scandal was itself notable in an industry often defined by drama. Their story showed that dedication and cohesion could sustain a long-term career in music, even without sensational headlines. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Forrester sisters had firmly established a legacy of quality music. Their work ethic, vocal talent, and family-oriented image created a model for other female groups seeking longevity in country music. While trends in the genre continued to shift, the sisters' recordings served as a reminder of a time when harmony, simplicity, and sincerity were enough to make an act memorable. They represented a link between traditional country values and the emerging mainstream sound of the era. Despite the pressures of success, the sisters remained approachable and professional. Interviews often highlighted their humility and focus on the music rather than fame. They avoided controversial behavior and concentrated on connecting with fans through performances and recordings. This grounded approach contributed to their reputation as reliable, talented artists whose contributions to country music were appreciated without the need for embellishment or hype. In summary, the Forrester sisters' peak years were characterized by consistent chart success, extensive touring, and a strong presence in the country music community. Their songs resonated with audiences, not because of flashy production or dramatic personas, but because of relatable themes and impeccable harmonies. The sisters' commitment to their craft and each other enabled them to navigate the challenges of the industry while maintaining a professional image. By the early 1990s, they were not just another group on the radio. They had become emblematic of 1980s country harmony, representing talent, family values, and understated excellence. As the 1990s progressed, the Forrester sisters gradually shifted from the intense pace of chart-topping success to a steadier, more selective approach to music. They continued to perform, record, and connect with fans, but the era of constant hits gave way to a focus on legacy and the personal satisfaction of creating music. Their story, while quieter than some of their contemporaries, offers insight into what it means to maintain a meaningful career in the ever-changing landscape of country music. The sisters' influence extended beyond just their recordings. For female groups and sibling acts that followed, the Forrester sisters served as a model of how to maintain professional harmony, both musically and personally. Their approach demonstrated that family groups could achieve commercial success without internal conflict or public controversy. In an industry often defined by tumultuous relationships and fleeting fame, this consistency stood out. Younger artists and aspiring groups often cited them as examples of what dedication, talent, and mutual respect could achieve. Their catalog of music remained relevant for fans who valued classic 1980s country. Songs like I Fell in Love Again Last Night and Too Many Rivers continued to receive airplay on country stations specializing in classic hits. The simplicity and sincerity of their music gave it a timeless quality, allowing new listeners to discover their work decades after its initial release. Their recordings were not tied exclusively to a specific trend or gimmick, which helped them age well. Fans often described their harmonies as comforting and familiar, qualities that resonated across generations. Beyond their music, the Forrester sisters were active in their communities. They performed at charitable events and participated in initiatives that supported music education and local causes. Their public presence reinforced the image they had cultivated throughout their career, grounded, approachable, and connected to family and community values. Unlike some artists whose fame led them to distance themselves from their roots, the Forrester sisters consistently emphasized the importance of family, faith, and the communities that nurtured their talents. Despite a lower profile in later years, the sisters occasionally reunited for performances and special projects. These events were often celebrated by longtime fans, highlighting the enduring appeal of their harmonies and stage presence. Their ability to reconnect and perform cohesively after years away from the spotlight demonstrated the lasting strength of both their musical skill and familial bond. Such reunions served as reminders of the unique place they held in country music history. Their impact on the industry was also measured in awards and recognition. While they may not have been the most decorated group of their time, their achievements were respected by peers and industry professionals. They won awards for vocal performance and were consistently acknowledged for their contribution to the genre. Their recognition was not built on sensationalism, but on the steady quality of their music and the professionalism with which they conducted their careers. In this sense, their legacy is one of reliability and artistic integrity. For scholars and enthusiasts of country music, the Forrester sisters represent an important chapter in the evolution of the genre. They emerged at a time when female artists and family groups were gaining visibility, and they contributed to shaping expectations for harmony-driven country music. Their success illustrated that well-crafted vocals, relatable lyrics, and consistent professionalism could sustain a career even amid shifts in popular taste. They were not revolutionaries, but they were exemplars of excellence in their niche. The sisters' influence is also evident in the preservation of their music by collectors and classic country stations. Many of their albums and singles have been reissued or included in compilations celebrating 1980s country music. This continued presence ensures that their contributions are not forgotten. For fans exploring the roots of modern country harmony, the Forrester sisters provide an accessible, high-quality example of sibling vocal groups at their peak. Their story also underscores the broader theme of longevity in music careers. While some artists achieve rapid fame and disappear just as quickly, the Forrester sisters maintained a steady presence through decades of changes in the industry. Their trajectory illustrates that success does not always require sensational headlines. Sometimes it requires focus, cohesion, and dedication to craft. In this sense, their career is instructive for aspiring musicians seeking a sustainable path in a challenging field. Today, the Forrester sisters are remembered not only for their music, but for the ethos they embodied. They showed that family could be a source of strength in a demanding profession, that harmonies could convey emotion as powerfully as lyrics, and that authenticity could resonate with audiences as effectively as spectacle. Their legacy lives on in the recordings they left behind, the fans who continue to celebrate their work, and the inspiration they provide to new generations of country artists. In conclusion, the Forrester sisters may not dominate conversations about country music as some other 1980s acts do, but their importance should not be underestimated. They achieved chart success, maintained professional integrity, and influenced future artists through their dedication to harmony, family, and authentic storytelling. For anyone exploring the history of country music, their music offers a window into an era defined by genuine talent, familial bonds, and enduring melodies. The Forrester sisters' career serves as a reminder that lasting impact is not always about spectacle. It is often about consistency, sincerity, and the quiet power of music to touch hearts across generations.